What's up, everybody? It's another Friday night right here at Churchill Smoke Shop. And as always, I got my right hand man, my partner in crime, Mr. B. Powell, to the third part, Mr. Preston Powell the third, my brother.
What's going on, man? It's always good to be back with the good brothers on another podcast this Friday night on the hill. Uh, this week, Cigar of the Week, El Artista Buffalo 10. It's a San Honduras wrapper with a Negrito tobacco binder in the center. But if you're not familiar with this cigar, just check this video out right here.
Welcome to Churchill Smoke Shop Cigar of the Week. This week's cigar is Buffalo 10 Maduro. Buffalo 10 Maduro Toro is a premium cigar handcrafted from the finest tobacco leaves from Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic. This cigar features a full-bodied flavor with hints of chocolate, espresso and black pepper. The Buffalo 10 Maduro Toro is perfect for those who prefer a medium flavor, bolder smoke.
With that being said, we got our good friend Jason Clark back with us today. You know, get to chop it up a little bit. But before we get into all that, Chad, gotta let everybody know, coming in June, Soul City Smoke Fest.
Okay, so Soul City Smoke Fest will be June 20th to the 23rd. We're going to start off with a pitch kickoff at the Country Square Friday night at Two Cigar Lounge Network Mister. That's a party hosted by the Scowns that Friday night. The Saturday will be at Downtown Cigar Company, 47 for the day party. And we're going to end it with the culmination of everybody's favorite, the Good Brothers Committee tailgate, 11 a.m. until bring your grills, coolers, blankets, socks.
Always have a good time.
Always. Right here, Churchill.
Jason, have you ever been to Smoke City, Soul City Smoke Fest?
I have not.
I'm
still crawling right now. I'm still crawling right now.
You're gonna have a great time, man. It's a good time had by all. I mean, it's a real
okay,
good time.
Man. Look forward.
Yeah, I mean, hit at least all the venues for a little bit, but they really do put on a good thing. You know, hopefully it get bigger and bigger every year, and this year won't be any different. With that being said, you know, we had a lot going on this week, but real quick, congratulations, Uconn men's national championship, back to back.
Right,
got to give them that.
Back to back.
Big deal.
Look, which was bigger. What turned out to be even bigger than that. South Carolina winning the national championship, beating everybody. I guess everybody in the United States favorite. Caitlin Clark. You know, shout out to Dawn Staley and those girls getting it done. I mean,
shout out to Raven Johnson, man.
Yeah, oh man, she a big shout out to her. If you haven't heard her story about how she almost quit basketball or because of what happened last year, and then come back and perform like that on that stage and getting it.
Oh yeah,
this is
digging deep.
Look, I was a college basketball player and I got a chance to play professionally in Mexico. This is the first time that I've ever been more enthralled with the women's tournament than the men's. I mean, I knew people in the women's tournament and I was glued to, you know, when it got down to the final 16, of course, you know, I'm an LSU guy, but when it got down to like the final 16, I mean, I was like clockwork on every game. So shout out to those ladies and things like that. But the other news this week, the Juice passed away. OJ.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to social media or that, but
man, they've been
it's been two extremes.
It's been bad.
Distraction.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah,
he did a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, golly.
You got people from the community snapping back because I saw Caitlyn Jenner had wrote OJ died, good riddance. And man, if you read the comments under there,
it was terrible.
The coldest
quick
one.
Question.
Huh?
Quick question. Where were you? And I'm coming back to you, Preston.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, where were you when OJ was in the Bronco trying to drive away?
Man, I was to be transparent with you, man. I'm about 10 years old, man.
Damn.
So you never got, well, I'll tell you what, I was in college.
Oh, I remember watching it.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna tell you the hilarious part about that. I was in college. My roommate at the time was the former head coach of Spring Hill and Arkansas State. We were driving. He was taking me to meet his mom, so we were driving to Tupelo. See, I'm from New Orleans, so I hadn't been out the Jackson area for a while. So you know, he was taking his mom to Tupelo. We didn't even know what was going on because the Knicks game was on. We were trying to get there to catch the Knicks game. And we got to the house and all of them were around the TV and Rob was like, what y'all watching? And I remember his mom saying, we finna watch this fool blow his brains out on national TV. And we like, huh, what? Then we got around to the TV, and it was
Glad he didn't do that.
OJ and the Broncos was riding. Then they let us know what happened, and OJ was on the run. And where were you at, Chad?
I was at the University of South Alabama at the Mississippi Alabama All-Star game.
And then how did y'all they just told y'all in the locker room?
Oh nah, we was you know, it was during the middle of the week when this happened. This had to be like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little downtime, you know, like snacks in the evening, watching TV, watching a basketball game. Matter of fact, the playoffs was on, like you said before.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it came across the screen that this dude with about 197 units behind him, and he driving his Bronco at 55 miles an hour. Like, I'm like, for real? Really? Like, this actually happening? Like,
juice was loose.
Yeah. It was too slow.
So tell me, where you at when the verdict was announced?
That I don't remember. I don't remember.
I remember. I was at home. I actually watched that whole trial. Man, that was crazy. It was like must see TV.
I believe it.
I watched that whole trial. Running home to court TV. Watched the whole trial.
Reality TV show.
Yeah, that's
so. Preston, back to you. So, what was the worst comment you saw?
When Caitlyn Jenner had wrote "OJ died, good riddance," a girl under his comment told him "F you." That's why he fuck your bitch.
Damn.
I was like, man, they ain't got no chill.
It's a cold world out here.
Man, and then the other comments, they were just killing them. And then I saw somebody made a meme with OJ face in the clouds with a whole bunch of white women behind them. And it said, what it said, F you crackers or something like that. Something like that. It was wild, man. I seen a bunch of them.
Mine was the one with the Bronco turned to a hearse.
I saw that one. That's what I was about to say. Somebody turned the Bronco into a hearse. I saw that. But that
I was like, wow.
Then it says stay mad crackers. That was just said. The juice it is what it is. I don't know. I don't even have the words to the social impact of it. It was one of those things where it wasn't that people endeared themselves to OJ. I think it was more of people feeling like, hey, somebody got over. You know what I mean? For years, we've been on the other end of that stick where you didn't get justice through the court system. And some people felt that was justice. No matter how wrong or right, you thought it was. But it is what it is. It's OJ.
Right.
What Jay-Z said, I ain't black, I'm OJ.
Yep, he said that. That was on 444.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I mean, but it had a huge social impact. I think that's, that will be forever. That will be forever in perpetuity in the American zeitgeist. So.
Yes, it will be.
So we you're gonna know about that, OJ. But I'm still a firm believer though in the separation of sport and that, the taking of Heisman's and all that stuff.
That's too political, man.
Yeah,
too political.
That's just.
I agree with that. Because to see what all he lost though, so
yeah,
that was crazy.
And a lot of people don't even know, man. OJ, his early years. I mean, he did a lot in the black community too in his early years. I mean, we can hop on his latter years, but his foundation years is something to be remembered.
True that. That's real.
He was a brother's brother,
Yeah. Yep. Soul brother number. He wasn't soul brother number one. He might have been 3 or 4.
I heard, somebody. I saw a good quote online. They had, people were having this discussion. I think you can find it on TikTok somewhere, where the lady was asking a former NBA player, why, white women gravitate. Why do athletes gravitate toward white women? He was like, well, I think you're looking at it wrong. I think what happens is when you're in a certain element or climate, you're going to be around the people you're around. I mean, if you segregate yourself and be around that and you put yourself in position, that's what you're going to have available to you. And I said, then you take into account, he said, then you combine that with, there's a segment of women in this world who are taught at an early age how to appease a person of a certain stature.
I remember that. I remember that.
So if you have those two qualities going for you, you're in those circles and you are taught how to navigate those circles. That's what you get. That's what you're gonna have, and that's just it is what it is. It's no different from anything else. You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Just like down south, it's a saying, she's the belle of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been grooming at an early age through debutantes and Jack and Jill and everything else.
I would tell you this. I have a friend of mine. He married. We were having dinner at his house. This is more back in my political days. His wife graduated from University of Alabama, and we were just talking, and she literally said this. She said, "Look," she said, the big difference is white girls are taught to go to college and get 2 degrees. Whatever you try to study, and your missus degree. He said, you're taught that.
Yeah,
he said, your parents will let you fuck off that first and the part of your second year. He said, but your parents will make sure by the time you're a sophomore or solid sophomore, all that BS aside, you need to find your dude or husband or something like that. Somebody you finna latch on to. So they're taught that. Like, hey, you find your guy and you get this shit over with, real fast, quick,
mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting. She was dead serious. She's like, yeah,
that's very interesting, right there.
You gotta get 2 degrees. You gotta get that missus degree. So you don't leave college without that missus degree. So you consider it a failure if you do. So
I remember that.
And think about, I think when I thought about that, I was like, man, how many of my white teammates and people at that weddings I went to from the ages of 21 to 27. Weddings was like, they were like all back to back. They knocked that shit out early, man. Yeah, think about China and those Asian countries. When you reach 25, they call you shit you. Leftover woman. Here's the thing. They say a guy single at 30. I forgot the Chinese term, but it's prime real estate.
Well, as long as they bring me a leftover chicken and cook some chicken, that was all good with me. Actually, I'm good right now. Though,
different cultural takes on everything.
Right.
But Jason, I know you do. I know you work Public Service Commission. I know we had some storms this week. The fact they rolled through the whole South,
Yes, it is.
And actually, this storm, to me, when my area, I live in North Jackson, it was worse than a previous storm, but I didn't hear a lot of deaths. So I know one person died because of power went out, something like that. And the oxygen, they were on an oxygen machine, and the power went out and they passed, which is very sad. I thought those things would have some level of backup, but I guess it did.
I always tell people, there's only one thing that separates a third world country and a first world country is utility, and having access to utilities. And so for us to be in Mississippi with all this resource and all this wealth, because it's here, especially in our rural areas, we should be really fixing our infrastructure to handle these tornadoes because they come every year.
Yeah.
Around the same time.
They clockwork.
Yeah. I really hope citizens get engaged and understand that, you got a lot of senior citizens too now, baby boomers.
Yeah.
And they don't have the luxury of, having somebody right there that can make sure to take care of them when the power go out or whatever. Right. You're talking about, and then I'm not even talking about the inflation of food and everything. So your power go out, all those groceries that you on a fixed income are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is other things to go on my community mind. I'm like, yeah, we gotta step it up, guys.
So Jason, how do we change that? How do we be able to navigate through these storms, especially in the inner city where you got so-called food deserts? So what do you feel like what needs to be done, can be done, should be done to change the environment or accessibility to food?
I would look at what up the street in this area is doing. Your Fonja community. They was in the news here just recently. And those community leaders, those neighborhood people, say what we want to say, they're getting involved and engaged. Involved and engaged. Use those two words for a reason.
Yeah.
Thinking about their long-term plan, what the next 50 years is going to be like, what the next 25 years is going to be like. So we just have the us and other communities around the state, around Jackson, we need to be doing some of those same like-minded things. And just instead of complaining about the problem and the issues, we all know about that is, We just gotta demand better governance, which the foundation gotta be better.
I'm telling you something crazy.
Go ahead, Chief.
I literally sat on the committee that when Fondren was seeking and received their Main Street designation, like all this development y'all see in Fondren, it came from a federal Main Street designation.
There you go.
I was working for I think Kane Ditto was mayor then, and I just started with his office, and I left his office, went to the police department, and I went to the crime commission. And I was on their committee because in order to fill out that federal application stuff, that you had to have like your crime statistics, and you had to lay out a 10-year crime plan, or a security plan, basically. And I sat there and helped them put that together. And when I see that now with Fondren is now, I was like, man, they had a plan. Like he said, the community got together and they had a plan. They planned everything you see going in Fondren right now was planned out.
That's 20, 30 years ago. We know we got housing issues, in the whole entire state. I'm talking about from the poor level to the, those who making a paycheck, barely making a paycheck, those who are making a paycheck, and so on and so on. And I just see that there's avenues of funds, of course, from your federal government, your private sector, your developers, but even your religious communities. I'm just saying we got to get involved and get engaged so you can have new development. For example, when you do have these storms and everything, most of the Jackson housing I know is probably 1980 and before. Most of the development here. You see,
later than that.
Later, yeah, and I'm being honest with you.
You being factual. You being factual.
Yeah, and you only got a couple subdivisions, quote unquote, that are new, but primarily in the last 10 years, you got apartments that been thrown up here, really.
Right.
And so, like I said, you got to make things affordable. Affordable for me is below the 150 mark, between 110 and 150. Around the surrounding areas are doing 275 and up.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just looking at, with the job demands, we need more jobs here. It's a complex thing, but my thing is, like you just said, getting at the table, taking emotions out, taking ego out. And if you can, take out the colorism, white and black.
Yeah.
And focus on the variables and saying, how do we demand excellence? How do we get towards excellence? I brought up Fondren for a reason because in Dallas, Texas, they got an area called Bishop Arts.
I know where that's at.
Bishop Arts.
Yeah.
Literally in the hood. Literally in the hood. And when these developers came in, they came together with the community and partnership with the city. And I'm talking about they got like 8 blocks in the hood and just
revamped
long term, but they use a lot of federal money.
Yeah.
So I like to tell citizens, sometimes your right of ways, your business. I mean, it's a lot of money out there for economic development because at the end of the day, you increase the value. You already know who those who own the value got to pay higher property taxes.
Right.
So it's a win-win. What I'm saying, all around. It's just getting through the inertia of just getting more people engaged and understand that hey, we got solutions around here. You know what I'm saying? Let's be a part of that.
You touched on something that I had a discussion about before. For this metro area to have, you got the medical center, you have Jackson State, Millsaps, Belhaven, Tougaloo, Mississippi College, and Hines is not far off. There are no new homes in the city of Jackson. So if you're 24 years old and you graduate from college and you got a girl and you talking about having a family, a young family, I'm being serious. Like you're 25, you get married, and you're young, you don't have no kids yet, or maybe you got one kid. Your only place you can buy a house out is Rankin or Madison. And
also this is the thing about this. We talk about economics, we talk about ecosystem. Right. And money is number 2. All right. And when it's aggregated and organized collectively, not talking about real grand, talking about a micro level.
Right.
You can create certain, this already. You can put your flag over here and over here, and you come up with a plan, and it's got to stick with the 3 to 5, 7-year game plan to do that. If you had a good banking partnership relationship, that will help you out.
Right.
If you have a developer, if the developers don't work together here in Richmond City, you go outside of other states and build relationships and get the developers to come here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my thing is, and I say that because I used to be the postmaster here in Jackson. Jackson, Byron, Flowood, Richland, and Pearl. And so I know how they're I call it creating artificial communities nowadays. It used to be a quote unquote demand for housing. Now they just put housing way out here, way out there. And if you want to work it downtown or work at the hospital, you want to work somewhere close to your house, to your job. 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And Jackson has plenty of areas where you can build development at.
Oh, it is. You got the reality is you got all of South Jackson. I mean,
so now you come to my area, Highway 18. Highway 18 for me is where you need to start collectively coming together and really putting your resources out that way. That's just me.
Believe it or not, somebody had a plan for Highway 18, but he died.
I know. I've seen it.
Al East. I never forget when I was working the Crown Commission. Al East was in his office one time. East Ford, if you don't know who Al East is one of the wealthy people here in the city of Jackson County. But East Ford, he had a plan. He was one of the ones that helped get the Home Depot and all that down there.
Come on. I mean, and
plan for that.
At Home Depot, they stayed less than a year.
Because he died. He passed.
But this is work. But also another thing is, if you build up Highway 80 and you build up Highway 18, you don't have a Byron, you don't have a Clinton at all.
Right.
So sometimes you have other, cities. I would say, city brothers, what do you call it, cities right beside you.
Yeah.
They probably don't want your best interest.
Well, because here's the reality. Byron wasn't Byron back then when he had his plan.
It wasn't.
So,
it wasn't.
Like you said, if that would have went through and he was able to get started, Byron would have stayed where Byron is, something in the county.
But the crazy thing is, it's gonna have to come back around at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're right there. You're right there, close to I-20, going towards Dallas. I mean, you're in a good corridor area, basically, whatnot. So, but like I say, man, we really got to find ways to make them a lifestyle and we engage in the political ecosystem because it directly affects us daily. You know what I'm saying? Or at least train the next generation.
Right. I'm gonna piggyback on what Jason said about both of you about housing. There is housing, but it's not designated for home ownership.
There you go.
About the renters and all that.
Yeah, Timber Ridge. There's one not far where I live at. What used to be old Magnolia Academy. It's a whole neighborhood by John Hopkins, but it's rent. You gotta rent, and then you gotta qualify. So basically,
go ahead.
No. You got what?
So my thing is this. This is my thing. In the next 20, 30 years, you're gonna have a great migration of those folks who live out west and up north who are coming to the south. Even though Mississippi didn't see a big population increase last year and the population census and whatnot, so Mississippi got a lot of transplants. Okay,
yeah.
And only thing I see is this: as those people die off and certain young folks move out of here, folks who when you get broadband everywhere and they can get remote jobs here in Mississippi, they're gonna come by the thousands. And when I say that though is the developers and the bankers in the real estate community, they're gonna build these houses that average Mississippi cannot afford at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, exactly.
So you're gonna put people basically in apartments or in housing communities where it's already economically deprived.
Right, but and what's making it even worse is that deprivation comes from the economic feasibility for the companies who are building these, for the ownership of management and the construction companies, because no feasibility studies have been done. They put apartments on land that's gonna have structural problems because most of the city taxes on Yazoo red clay.
That's true.
But one thing Jason said that is 100%. I 100% agree with. There is it's already starting now, but I don't think Mississippi got the brunt of it in Jackson. You get it other places. There's a huge migration south. I'll be talking about people who, because all it is your family coming back home.
But also, look at this shit. I want to tell you this now. I get around experience. I would beg to differ. Jackson has a lot of it. If you go to some of these neighborhoods, even neighborhoods you don't believe, You're gonna see people running and walking their dog at times of the day and times of the night, and you won't believe they live in the community. Okay.
I give you that.
I'm giving you another example. Jackson has, I know, at least 30,000 Hispanic community that lives here in the city.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna mention that too.
And they putting their flag on, and I'm not, I love it. You know, you can bring community here and develop it and clean it up and work together and put the property on the tax roll. Win for the municipality. However, those who are existing here, we have to get out. You know, I was get out some of our get out our emotions and ego, and put our flags up too, and build what we can do basically.
And you know what, Jason? I want to run this by you. Oh, my bad, President.
No. Go ahead.
Because one thing that I noticed is a lot of other cities that help create economic development, economic feasibility, also the opportunity for home ownership. It was the model that was brought to Jackson, but it was cut short because a lot of corporations started buying houses that was rent to own.
Yeah,
that signed a contract. You had to get certified, I think, if I'm not mistaken, through the USDA or United States Department of Commerce. Yeah, or DACA, whatever. How it goes.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
But then they flipped it because while the corporation started buying all the houses up in the market, they shot it up to like what 300% on rent,
and they still doing that right now.
Exactly.
They're companies, in the that's all they're doing is going around the country trying to gobble up property.
Well, my thing is like this. I know the gameplay. Their gameplay is the same gameplay they did from slavery to sharecropping and Jim Crow, where you had to work the land, you just work for free and still not get paid nothing. Now you living on land you can't own. I mean, you know the same place, right? To a certain degree. So my thing is that we know that plan is like that, and they're refining the system to refine the system. I use that word for a reason now. Some things always stay the same, just refined. Then my thing is, what are we doing with our like-minded, God-given abilities? I don't care if it's block, and that could be you can laugh at me and all that.
No, because you own the something. So let me ask y'all this, and I mean this with the utmost seriousness.
I know you do.
How do we get churches to get involved? Because they hold a huge part of our economic impact. I mean, we got churches here that have access to a lot of capital. How do we get them to stretch outside their doors? Because all they're doing is hoarding the money. They're just hoarding the money in there where they at.
Actually, churches, in my perspective, let me first say this as my disclosure. I'm gonna work with the willing institutions that want to work for the people they supposed to be serving. Let me first say that, okay? But let me go a little bit further though. The churches are dying right now. Okay, big time. All right, but on top of that though, the same thing we do with you guys know you get about 69,000 people come to the city of Jackson working every day, right?
Right.
And they take their revenue out, and the surrounding municipalities they have a surplus, right?
Right.
Well, some of your churches do the same doggone thing in your own community. They take the revenues you give them, and they subsidize banks that actually take that money and they loan out for loans, different things like that. So if you go back to some of the church history, AME Church, First Credit Union, some simple solutions. You have to have cultural pride to a certain degree of your community pride. Whether it's Jackson pride, whatever not there, and you become unapologetic with it, not in an egotistic way or emotional way, but you started to communicate with each other, with the like-minded ones.
Yeah.
You don't have to make a religious dogma now. They want to make a religious dogma.
You don't.
But you can work with the people and start solving some community needs. It's not a rocket science what the church need to do. However, but I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let Chad go ahead and take over. Most of the reason why you got most institutions, most institutions that are hoarding money is where you say or whatnot. Though they have no competition institution that's raising the bar, raising the standard. Okay, then so they're able to do whatever they want to do because nobody's challenging them. Nobody's creating another institution to compete with them locally, and so whatever they give out is supposed to be the cream of the crop.
Yeah. Because let's be honest.
I'm just being honest, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you.
But it is what it is. But you got churches all over the place here
but Jackson has 2,000. Jackson has 2,000. Jackson has 2,000 churches that know that that are registered with the state of Mississippi. Now, whether they small, big, in a home, with all that good stuff, they said COVID came through and a lot of them closed down, but it seems like a lot of them open back up.
And about 1,000 I want a firebomb.
but your commercial corridors, I'm just being on part of the ecosystem. Let's say most of us, your commercial corridors supposed to be commercial corridors, ecosystem, creating jobs. Okay, then. And if the people are not educated or informed enough to even understand that type of lingo, and you understand you guys be in the government or close to the government or whatnot, so you have to find people you can sow those seeds in, build relationships to do what we see needs to be done.
I like the idea of cultural pride, because if we can get if let's just say we take the 10 biggest churches in the city limits of Jackson, and we can get them to agree that, hey, look, we're going to deposit our money here, because we've come to agreement with this bank, for us to make our deposits here, they're going to open their coffers to provide in business loans, micro loans to businesses. They're going to help us with home ownership, cars, whatever we buy.
But then Bishop Stallworth do that several years ago.
He started it, but then remember when he got the other issue happened.
So once again, but my thing is where I say
we can't separate things for some reason.
No, but I'm talking about the new age people. Okay, I know you guys probably older than me, but I'm saying you get your millennials and the guys who are a couple of older than the millennials to kind of sow some seeds with them. The universe is gonna keep on. I use the word universe. It's gonna keep on sending you people you can work with. They want to listen. They want to execute and move forward. I think that's the perfect model that he did, because what he did is one thing. He showed it can be done. So they can't say they can't do it, because guess what? You got somebody who just did it 30 years ago. Okay, then. So now you know, and you got other models too. So now you know you need that more than ever nowadays.
Right.
And when I say cultural pride, I'm just saying having pride of Jackson. Now what's going on right now? You got people putting their flags down and saying, "Where I'm Belhaven flag pride, I'm Fungin pride, I'm Midtown pride, I'm not knocking all that." But you better work in cohesiveness as unity as Jackson, because one thing Jackson may be facing right now on my short-term end is about a third of Jackson can look like the Delta right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
Okay,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because there is no economic pulse in a sector of the city at all. Because there's nothing out there.
Okay, so Jackson, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying one more thing, and I don't know if it was the strategic actions that was done several years ago when the city of Jackson just annexed a lot of the county. Jackson's 100 square mile radius now. All right, so you got a large city that people don't really understand.
Yeah.
That it can't even really economically provide the basic services that it's supposed to be all able to provide.
Right, but it's basically what that came from with what the state do. They buy up everything. They don't do anything with it but save it for certain people. But now I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna touch that, because a lot of them folks do that for Reagan County. So again, touch that. But I'm gonna go back to what Jason said. Back to the church. The church has one powerful thing that a lot of people don't have access to or knowledge of. That's a 501c3.
Yeah. They got that.
Actually, they got something more add on to that. Religious organizations actually have their own banking system that they can borrow money from. I'm talking about that's totally different than any other, Chase Bank or whatever. They have their own banking system,
and they can designate the revenue stream too.
Yeah.
The same way a school has different budget streams. The church has too.
The same thing. Yeah. But once again, I'm just saying that the members, though, it's like the community. They have to be engaged in knowledge, so they have rights and responsibilities too, though.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
They got to guide their pastors and their leadership. But with that said, we got about a minute left. Chad, go one more time. Spoke City Spoke
Hey man, June 23rd, man, we're having a great conversation right now. Hey, y'all put in the comments, man. How y'all feel about this, dog? How y'all feel about this? You know what I'm saying? We got to do something. We got the word of the day, and I think Jason might agree with this word. It's called sustainability.
Yeah.
Economic
You got a good
sustainability.
word before we get out of here?
All I want to say is, man, we must demand excellence in all levels of leadership. We must demand excellence in all levels of leadership. All right, that's all I'm saying. That's all I gotta say on that note, gentlemen.
All levels, especially the church. With that being said, I said it. Remember the Cigar of the Week, Buffalo 10, LRT stuff. Come out, give it a try. You can find it at your local shop, but you can always find it at Churchill. With that being said, guys, we'll see you, Good Brothers Committee.
Hey, man, Jason, we appreciate you. We look forward to
seeing
seeing you next time, man.
Always good to have you on, brother. All right.
I appreciate it, Joe. All right.